JKB back with another episode. Today on the show I'm reviewing Evil Inside. Thank you to the publisher for the review copy. Evil Inside is a first-person puzzle horror game where you have to figure out the mystery of what has happened to your mother. There's no other way to say this except the developer clearly saw a lot of inspiration out of the PT demo, which turned into Silent Hills, the game that we never got on PlayStation. They clearly are mimicking that game from every aspect you can imagine. The main gameplay loop here is exactly the same as PT. You walk around the hallways, figuring out clues, and getting to the final door, and then having it loop around back to the beginning. You'll do this over and over and over, and kind of come across puzzles. I can't say they were too difficult. And eventually you'll get to the end of the game in maybe around an hour. I think the main difference between PT and the Evil Inside is the production level is clearly much better in PT. Evil Inside has pretty good graphics for a PlayStation 4 version that I am playing. As for the story of the game, I'm not going to spoil it here. It's an hour long, so there's not too much to it. If you've ever seen the movie Ring, and you've ever played the PT demo, then you've basically played this game. There's no gameplay mechanics that let you interact with the world. You'll simply be clicking things and taking a look at them and walking away. You won't be picking up a weapon or anything like that in this game. It's simply exploring and solving, like I said, very simple puzzles.
You better subscribe to my channel.
I think the biggest problem with the game is that it's not really scary on a psychological level. It's just simply jump scares that will pop out of nowhere, and while they do scare you at times, you're never going to be invested in the story on a psychological level because it's just not up to that level of game. Now, in the Blair Witch Project, and let me reiterate, I'm no expert in horror, but in the Blair Witch Project, they never show the witch on screen. They show the characters interacting with the environment, and eventually they show the characters screaming and running away from the witch and saying, "Oh my god, what is that? Look at that, oh my god." But the point is, the audience has to really internally look into their soul and figure out what is the scariest image I could come up with how the witch would look. And that's the brilliant aspect of the Blair Witch. They don't show you what the witch looks like. Your deepest, darkest fears show you, the viewer, what the witch looks like. And it looks different for all of us. This game never achieves anything on any of those levels and doesn't understand that subtlety is usually the best way to scare an audience in a horror movie and in a game. And while the game obviously took a lot from PT, I can't really knock them for that because video games these days have taken ideas from everything from the past, and there's really nothing original out there. So I'm not going to knock it for being an exact copy of PT. I'm going to say that my overall score for this is a 4 out of 10, and the main issue is the fact that it's not really scary on a psychological level. Yeah, there's jump scare after jump scare, and that's kind of interesting, but it doesn't really make you want to play the game longer and figure out the clues. You know that a jump scare is coming. There's no subtlety to it. There's no real emotion to it. It's just simply walk down a hall, here's a scare. And by the way, the model itself of the ghost is nowhere near, it reminded me of a PS2 sort of design. It's just disappointing. I can't stress it enough that I'm very disappointed with the game. While the rest of the house and some of the effects look kind of cool, overall visually it's not going to blow your socks off, and it's not, realistic in any way. Unfortunately, the saying that great artists steal doesn't really work here because there's no real passion behind the scares themselves. It seems like they had an idea, well, let's just take the PT demo and extend it and make our own game out of that idea. It just doesn't pay off. It doesn't work. The story is exactly like The Ring meets the PT demo. It's not very original at all. There's not much I can say that's positive about it. The only plus I can say is that the sound design's decent when you're wearing your 3D audio headset for the PlayStation 5. I did play this on my PS5. There was no real issues with the frame rate or anything like that. It runs fine. It's just one of those games that's simply a toss-away game and maybe even a cash grab from the developer. So it's obvious I'm very sad with the game. I thought if you're going to rip off PT, You might have a brilliant idea there and be able to extend that idea past the demo, and unfortunately, this team has not done that. And I guess we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer for a horror game that really competes against PT, because this definitely doesn't. If you enjoyed this review, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the bell notification to get notifications every time I upload a new video, and I'll see you in the next episode of JKB.